Fine. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our agenda. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do icebreaker, and then we're gonna talk about what is podcasting, or what does it mean to podcast. I'm gonna share a definition of that, and we're gonna discuss how this is how we got to this place. Right. We're gonna talk about some podcast platforms. Some very commonly used ones. Of course, there's millions of them, but let's just talk about a few. We're going to talk about podcasts versus live streaming. What is the difference? Part of this meeting was constructed from that conversation, dealing with the fact that my station, our station, we have people who are live streaming, but we understand that there's been a huge momentum and surge of podcasts. So we need to really kind of share some differential things in that. All right. What are you waiting for? This is for those persons who are joining us today who have put their toe in the water but hadn't quite jumped all the way in. You remember when you were a kid, you wanted to test the waters. You just wanted to look at it. You didn't know if it was cold or what, but you stood at it. You didn't get in. Well, today, for those who are brave enough, we're going to start your podcast today. Today is a very special podcast presentation because I want to help progress and push someone from one step, make a significant jump into where they're going today. All right. So how often should I share? We're going to talk about what it means to grow your audience. Everybody wants to know this. Is it a mystery? We'll talk about that. We're going to deal with the benefits of your podcast and monetizing your content. All right. So with that, I want each of you to jump off the line, no rhyme or reason or order. If you can come in and just share your name, business, or show, and I want you to share with me what expectations you have for this training.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erin. I am a rising senior at the Samuel Dewitt Proctor School of Theology. And I am currently in the planning phases of Black Girl Theology talk show live. So from this training, I just expect a little more knowledge and understanding as to where to go next. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, AJ, for this wonderful, wonderful webinar.
Thank you, Erin. Who's next?
Hi, my name is Kimberly Harrison. I am the founder of KH Streamers, a motivational organization. Podcasting, I love it. I think I've done like 5 episodes so far, trial and error. I enjoy it. I like to talk. AJ knows that. I like to transform lives by way of my speech. I kind of focus in when I will do my webinars. Most of my subject matter will cover career development, leadership skills, and financial self-sufficiency. What should I learn? What do I expect to learn today? Everything that I don't know. Because, you know, it's strange when you are a speaker, when you're a public speaker, podcast host, whatever is in that dynamic. Sometimes it's not as easy to just like hit it one time. And people, I guess I'm going to say this is true. People aren't as eager to share their tricks and tips with you. I guess it's maybe because of fear that maybe you're going to excel a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but I believe that in the time and the current that we're in right now, there's room for all. There's room for all. After we get over this crisis, there's going to be money for all. So I'm using this time to prepare, to kind of fine tune and just encourage folks, because I think that's at the end of the day, everybody needs an encouraging word.
That's good. Before the next person jumps in, I want you to give me just 1 or 2 challenges that you have that you would like to address today during the podcast. During this.
I would say it does not appear that my segments or episodes are getting enough plays. I use the platform Anchor, and then Anchor distributes it out to other channels such as Apple, I think it's Overcast or something. I'm not getting a lot of plays. Even when I post the link onto Facebook and I have like 500 friends or whatever, maybe a little bit more than that, I'm not getting as many plays as I thought. So just kind of want to learn a little bit. That's a challenge for me. And then the monetization part, the only way that I know is that somebody's saying they have an issue. Is that with me?
Solution. Bounty Wrinkle Guard is a fabric conditioner that helps protect you from wrinkles all day. Just pour the back.
You're good. That's good. I can see the comments. You go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in the monetization part. But I mean, I know that will come. The more, popular and welcome you are, the more money you make. So I know that'll come, and I'm not really like I'm not like I have to make a whole lot of money with this. Thank God I still have my full-time job.
Amen. Praise God.
Praise God for that.
That's good. Well, thank you. That's very meaningful information, and I pray that in our discussions we will really tap into why you're not getting those hits and reaches, and move forward from there. All right, who's up next?
I'll go next.
Hey, sister, how are you?
Hey, brother.
Good to hear from you.
You too. So first, I want to thank you, AJ, for putting this together. I absolutely appreciate it. My name is Ebony Irwin, for those who don't know. I have never done a podcast before, though I have been on air before. I have done a podcast. But right now, I'm in the planning stages and phases of trying to put something together. And I guess what I expect from the training is just how to get started and I guess build my confidence in doing it, because a challenge for me would be public speaking. Although I love to talk and I love to speak, I kind of freeze up when I am speaking to a larger group. So, yep, that's it for me.
Sister, I wish I can tell you that it gets easier, but I'm not sure if anybody has any kind of anecdote for that. I know there are resources you mentioned. My Aunt Joya was an amazing resource. I'll give you her information. I also know that Kim has a public speaking nonprofit, I believe, that she's working on. So we are going to help you in that. We're also going to prayerfully help you get started. And I want us all to celebrate each other as you hear about the different things that people are doing, whether you are already have a podcast, whether you're trying to figure out what podcasting is, whether or not you have been doing this for a long time and still here. Wherever you are, help us to celebrate each other with that. All right? All right, who's up next?
I'll go ahead and jump in. My name is Rashad Mills. My show is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I guess between our conversations, AJ, one of my goals for today is just really understanding the difference between a podcast and a live show. And then in addition to that, I want to be able to reach. I'll go ahead and jump in.
Okay, awesome. It sounded like there was some feedback coming in. If everyone can mute their devices until they're called, that would be great. So Rashad, thank you. I purposely put that slide in from a conversation you and I had. So I wanted to obviously take some time there. It is a topic that I really haven't shared with our team. It sounded like there was some feedback coming in. If everyone can mute. Right. So yeah. So there is a discussion that would really touch on those who are already recording, who have content, and allowing us to be able to move forward there. Okay, who's next?
I'll jump in and go next. Can everybody hear me? Good afternoon. My name is Katrina Wilson. AJ, you know that we're on at the same time as the 2004 finals basketball championship game is on. The Lakers and the Celtics.
Can you guys hear me?
I'll jump in and go next. Can everybody? I'm just saying. I am a part of team member of the Good Life Gospel Show on Awesome God Radio. I have a segment that I do on the show called Surrender to Love, and I'm really looking forward to pushing it to the next level. I've been consistent and faithful with it since I've been Facebook Live with it since February. I scrolled through, and I didn't even realize it had been even that long. That seems like a long time to me. And I was like, wow, I started in February. Oh my goodness. So I'm really looking forward to going to the next level, going to YouTube and seeing how, just learning more about podcasting, how to take the message of God and share the love that I have. I have enjoyed everyone's introduction, but the encouragement piece that Kim Harrison shared and a lot of the things that she said really resonate with me. So I'm looking forward to sharing in this course and learning just more about podcasting. Anything that I have trouble with, I don't know. I'm just looking to learn. So just going to the next level, that would be where I'm like stuck at, and I've been kind of stuck in of myself in that. So I'm looking forward to the information that you'll provide. Thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, sister, for sharing. I think we are all at a place where we're trying to get to the next level. Even me, myself, what does the next level look like? So there may be an idea or some help or resources that we can share. So I pray that this information will be helpful for you. Okay, Nicole, I think you are trying to unmute, but I hear some feedback coming in. Let's see if you unmute now, if you can hear us, and or we don't hear the echo that's coming through. Let's try it now. I think you are trying to unmute, but I hear some feedback coming in. Let's see if you unmute now, if you can hear us, and or we don't hear the echo that's coming through. Let's try it now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, are you watching from the Awesome God Radio Partners tab?
Well, I think you are trying to unmute, but I hear some feedback coming in. Let's see if you unmute now, if you can hear us, and or
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but are you listening via the Awesome God Radio Partners tab? Is that your volume from the Awesome God Radio Partners tab?
Well,
because it sounds like a delay.
Yeah, but I hear some feedback coming in. Let's see if you unmute now, if you can hear us, and or
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but are you listening via the Awesome God Radio Partners?
So yes, I have to listen. For some reason, I don't know, my laptop is not allowing me to hear it from the laptop. So I'm like listening on the Awesome God Partners page, but I'm watching it on my laptop. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicole Taylor, and I am the co-founder of Empowering Minds of Maryland's Youth, which is a nonprofit, and we do outreach programs for youth in our community. I'm also the co-founder of Women in Business International, and Women in Business International, we serve a sisterhood of women entrepreneurs who understand individually they can do great things, but collectively they can forever change the world. So our members, the members of our movement, experience a support system that allows us to celebrate their wins and share struggles in a series of opportunities that enhance them personally and professionally. So I'm also the host on Women in Business International radio show. And what do I expect from this training? What I expect from this training is just to know the ins and outs about podcasting, because I've definitely been interested in and just trying to understand the difference between our radio show and podcasting, and which one can be beneficial, or are both just as beneficial. So just trying to get more information, fill in the gaps. A lot of people call my radio show a podcast, and I'm like, no, this is a radio show. So that way I will understand and be able to know what to express to them what it really is, and how I can answer that question for them. So thank you for having this.
Nicole, it's amazing because the first few times people kept saying, I'm watching your podcast. At first, it was like, we're not really a podcast. There is absolutely a different, there's a difference. And, but I'm starting to, here's me, I'm starting to evolve into understanding why we have to pay attention to this whole quote unquote term podcast. So this meeting and this gathering, you guys will be equipped to understand the difference, and you'll be able to choose and pick which way you want to go. All right, who's up next?
Hello, can you hear me? Can
Yes,
you hear me? Yeah,
yep,
okay.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
My name is Minister Bree, and thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for my also Whitney Hogans, who also told me first about this opportunity. So thank you both. My name is Minister Bree, as I said before, and I am the CEO of Bree and Stewart Ministries. So I am a wife, mommy of 3. I have a women's ministry, and I also have a life coaching program. And I have a little girls program from ages 2 to 16, which we teach dance and mentoring. So lately we've been doing that virtually. And so it's been on my spirit for a while to do a broadcast or to do a show. I haven't honestly had the time, but now God has made the time. So I'm being obedient and I'm pushing through. I'm also looking to expand my network and my territory. And I'm just looking forward to what God has in store. I'm really, really excited in this season. It's winning season. I'm willing to plant some seeds, and I'm looking to learn more about how to start a broadcast and how to expand your network.
Absolutely amazing. And I first appreciate you joining us today. You feel like family already. Forgive me. When people come close, we do our best to show our hospitality. So thank you to our We Are AGR community. And thank you for Whitney for helping us out. We're going to hear from her in just a few moments. But certainly, thank you for joining us today. Prayerfully, something today that is shared would help you and allow you to take that next step. All right. I'm just going to read this off to our brother Terrell, who's on. He has some background noise issues, so he just wanted to share. Just started a podcast called Let's Build. It bears around his book. More importantly, a deep self-evaluation to help build within before we can build with others and our community. So building within, I believe, before he can actually help to build his community. I want to know how to gain a great following and understand the difference between talk show and podcasting. Very good question there. And I feel like we're going to spend some time during that segment. All right, who's up next?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, I have some technical difficulties.
Hey, Whit, are you covering your mic? Okay, you sound a little fainted, but go ahead. There we go. That's much better. We can hear you now.
Okay, so my name is Whitney Hogans, and I am an author and educator, and I am the owner of She Hills Publishing, LLC. I help authors publish their books. I'm also a part of the Awesome God Radio family. I'm the host of the She Hills radio show on Fridays. And so I am here. I attended the first podcast event that we had, and I'm just looking to learn more so that I can continue to expand my reach and my growth, not just for myself, but also for my son, who is producing and doing the sound engineering for my radio show. I'm looking for ways that we can build and expand together. So that is why I'm here.
How old is Quincy?
Quincy is 13, and our show on Awesome God Radio will be going into its second year. We started July of 2018, and Quincy was 11, and he probably interned at the station for, I'm not even sure, a few months. Before he took over the show and is now the sole producer and sound engineer for my show.
One of my most proudest moments is that Quincy is 13, producing her show, learning all the ins and outs and the technical aspects of radio, internet radio. Quincy and both went to the Stellar Awards last year. And standing in line with two-time Stellar Award winner, and I introduced him, and I said, "Hey, listen, you like he's like the giant of internet radio. The gentleman we were talking to won twice in a year. He actually beat us in 2017. But I introduced him to who was producing, and really for me felt good to be able to share that our community is not just about playing gospel music, but it really is a community service platform. So thank you, Whit, for joining. I know there's many more on here, so we're going to go ahead and go around the table. Thank you to those who have just joined. We are right now doing an icebreaker, so if you could unmute and just share a little bit about what you're doing, your name, your hobby, your small business and or show, and maybe a couple of things in terms of what you would like to accomplish on this training.
My name is Christian Varner. And
God is good. God is good.
What's up? And I own a business, HHT Fitness, who we've recently went virtual. And I'm looking at trying to expand my business virtually, as well as adding other audio capabilities such as podcasts, etc.
Thank you so much, good brother, for joining. He has an amazing, I call it ministry, but it's a health and wellness organization that they almost never stop. 4 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 6. I don't know anybody who works as hard as this man, him and his amazing wife, Minister Dina. I appreciate you guys so very much for joining. Please get in touch with him, y'all, if y'all want any fitness things, both health and wellness. All right, so thank you for joining. I pray something that is shared today would be a blessing to you. All right, who's up next?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We turn my camera on. This is super producer JP, as everybody may know me. I'm just here to, I'm an in-house producer for AGR, do a lot of shows throughout the week, and I'm just here to learn more about podcasting. And I'm kind of toying around with the idea of starting something myself, but who knows? But other than that, I'm just here for the learning experience and just to see where the station is going, and I'm excited to be here.
I'm not sure what I would do without you, Brother JP. I thank you so much, man, for helping to support a major function of our station. Of course, you know, before we started the new platform where people are going live remotely, it required someone who was trained and knew how to operate the in-studio equipment. Brother JP stepped up to the challenge, him as well as my son, producer Jefferson, really done a great thing. If you guys could do me a favor and just mute your lines until it's time, that'd be great. All right, who's up next?
There you go. It's in the pocket. See? Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. I just couldn't do it.
I don't know what that is.
All right.
Something I gotta check it.
All right. Reverend Terrence, you all good? Yes, sir. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Terrence? All right, gotcha. Yes, sir. I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's Terrence Wheeler. I'm looking to just look at some of the online and podcast information for my mentoring program for young men and coaches around the country, and just trying to bring it to a podcast type of situation so that we can, expand this thing further.
I so appreciate you, man. And this brother right here, his life, his story, really devoted, and I'm not saying 10%, I'm talking about 1,000% for the benefit to help our young men as well as our young ladies. His life is dedicated to that. He has amazing organizations that he's a part of. So we are going to help in any kind of way to help to get that voice, that part, that story out to help so many people in so many ways. So thank you, good brother. I'm honored.
Appreciate it, bro. Already.
On the podcast platform today. All right, is there anyone else? I see one other name here, and I want to just make sure that we are saying hello and greeting everybody. The name says LG Philo. It looks like a non-iPhone person. I'm sorry, but it doesn't look like an iPhone. But
don't
hey,
do that. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
I'm not getting the iPhone. I don't need it. But it's me on my phone.
So, Rissa, just tell everybody who you are. I appreciate you.
Okay. So I am Rissa. I am host of Awesome God Radio show. I am an author, and I started my podcast based from the information that was taught on the AJ's first training. So I'm just going to expand, continue to grow.
Okay, sounds like you got disconnected, Rissa. If you can hear me, you may want to try to call back in if you can. Hello? Okay. All right, so it's hard to hear. I'm not sure if we lost her, but we'll move forward from there. Well, if everyone has shared and everybody's all good, I would like to go ahead and continue. This was very meaningful, and I know why we're taking the time to learn who each other is, because I really want you guys to honestly have, okay, Alyssa, are you there? I'm sorry.
I thought I snuck by. I was like, look at God.
That's funny.
My name's Alyssa Boyd. I linked up with someone. My dad is an author, and I linked up with his publisher, and she had a radio show on Spirit 1400. So I ended up partnering with her and doing a radio show for a few months. And thanks, Ebony. And I loved it, and I enjoyed it. And so I've actually completed my first podcast season just in October of last year. And so I haven't gone into my second season yet. I learned a lot of the nitty gritty just by trial and error and knowing, just learning batch recording and all types of different things. And all the different platforms to do it on and how to get it on iPhone. iPhone and Google Play and all of those things. So I'm just learning, just coming on here just to see what else I can learn and to get myself started in my second season of my podcast. So I'm excited. And thank you, Ebony, for calling me out and for telling me about this.
Ebony gonna push you one way or the other. I'm telling you, I know what that means, but I appreciate you sharing. And one of the reasons why I'm glad we took this much time to really share what everybody's doing is because this is what it takes to make something like what you guys are endeavoring to do, to make it happen. I'm gonna preach this throughout the whole day. You need a community. There's this word community that stands out. All right, I won't spend time here. I'm going to keep it moving, but I want you guys, if you're taking notes, if there's anything that you're doing, please write this down. You need a community, okay? All right, let's go to the next slide here. All right, what do we have here? Okay, all right, so what does it mean to podcast and what that definition is? Okay, so I'll read the definition first. A digital audio file. All right, this is a podcast definition. A digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installment of which can be, and there's stuff covering the words, but forgive me, I can't see that, by subscribers automatically. All right, so let's get a one definition, one understanding of what a podcast is, or what does it mean to podcast. A podcast is a file, digital file. I say digital file because there's so many different platforms that you could use to do that. And based on your, whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to determine which platform that you use to certainly to create your podcast. Now, for instance, we have my good brother Christian Varner on, and he wants information on his, thank you. I didn't know how to do that. See that? I appreciate you. Mrs. is on point, y'all. I'm telling y'all, she's doing her good work today. Appreciate you. So he does working out. He does helping to us to get physical. It would not be advantageous for him to create a podcast that you can just hear his voice. So we have to really get into the mindset. What is my purpose? What is it that I am purposing to do? And this question that I had asked about, and let me just do this really quick, because I know there was some things in my old podcasting that I didn't do or didn't share, but I want to make sure that I didn't have. Okay, so I'm going to use this opportunity on this slide to talk a little bit about purpose. Purpose is the one thing that has got you guys excited. It has brought you here. I pray that purpose has done that. And I want to be candid about this conversation, because being in this business for some time, I've seen people come, I've seen people leave, some in a month's time, 2 weeks' time, some within 6 months. If you are part of Awesome God Radio, there is something that I do very unique that probably nobody does. If you sign up with us, I'll give you 2 months to go without having to worry about anything financially. All right. And that was in the old system. This was before the pandemic hit. The reason is because I want people to get a sense of what it feels like every week to prepare, share, and to see the benefits, the fruit of their online shows. Because in that cycle of continuously sharing and what you're doing in your podcast, you will learn some things about yourself, you'll learn some things about your audience, and you'll learn a lot about those who surround you. And most of you know what I mean by that. And then for those who are joining and getting ready to start, this is a conversation that I wish I would have had prior to starting this online engagement, whether it be live stream or podcasting. Because your purpose has to align with what you're trying to accomplish. You have to decide, what am I here for? Why do I want a podcast? Maybe I saw my friends do it, and they're doing a great job. I see what comes from what they're doing, and so it makes much sense for me to do what they're doing. I see stars doing it. Like Jada Pinkett just took a red table and put it in her dining room and said, I want to have red table talk. And it just goes viral. She's talking to people, friends, and the discussions are open. It's natural. It's not anything that producers are giving you lines for, like reality TV shows. It's not like Martin, like I Like Martin, and all those sitcom kind of situations where things are arranged. No, it's the natural feel, look, and candid conversations that people are having candidly that seem to have a grip. So your purpose has to somehow be connected. And if your purpose isn't connected to what you're trying to accomplish in this podcasting and you think it's just a good idea, I want to say to you before we go any further that maybe you need to evaluate that before we go further. Because if not, this is hard work. This is very hard work, and nothing happens overnight. So if you are 100% committed to taking what you're doing, not just an idea, but something that you believe that God is pushing you into, because there's a greater purpose that you have not yet seen or realized, know that podcasting is nothing when it compares to you finding what it is that you want to do. All right. So I want y'all to really think about that. I want you to start taking some notes. Please feel free to jump in at any time if you have questions. This is not lecture style more than it is us having dialogue and conversation. I wanted to allot 90 minutes. It took us some time to get through the first portion. So we'll do our best to get through the 90. But if we need to go a little bit further, for those who have to leave, I understand. But we'll make sure that we get through all the questions, okay? All right. So some of the podcasting platforms that you guys may be familiar with, I did my best and I tried to at least come up with some. Now, this isn't all, but these are some of the platforms that we know. Now, during our first training, I went through a more technical path to teach and share with people, well, what does all of these names mean? I am signing up with Anchor, but Anchor is going to go ahead and boost it to iTunes and Spotify, or what is tuned in, or what is Buzzsprout. One of the things you have to understand is that a lot of people aren't very technical when it comes to these vehicles or platforms. Even for me, you have to look, learn, research, understand the differences, what works for you, what doesn't. You can do all of that, and some of the reviews are just even more technical than you started. So you find yourself kind of going with the flow with the things that people are sharing to say it works. And if it works for you, good. If you don't see any fruit or benefit from it, you go, okay, well, I started it, but it didn't work for me. And then you're on to the next thing. All of these platforms work well. They all kind of plug into each other. But one of the things, again, you have to decide, number one, do I want to be seen? Do I need video? Or the content that I'm sharing doesn't require for me to be seen, and I can record myself where people can hear me, and I can share 10, 15 minutes of, maybe a tip for the day. It doesn't have to be recorded. So I can put my content easily in something that doesn't have video. All right. So for instance, SoundCloud is a platform that does not require any kind of video. SoundCloud does not require any kind of video. Yes, if you are unmuted, please mute your line as you come in. Thank you for those who are just joining. I would really appreciate it. And if you have questions, you can surely unmute and ask. SoundCloud doesn't have any, I believe Podomatic doesn't have any video. I want to say Spotify doesn't have any video. I want to say that iTunes, the podcasting in iTunes doesn't have any video. All right. There's many more. TuneIn, no video. Google Play, depending on which platform you select. And Anchor. So Anchor has been one of the most popular podcasting that we have. And with Anchor, Anchor allows you to sign up really easily. And then, I'm sorry, I still hear some background noise. Let me see if I can find out who that person is. Bless your heart. We appreciate you. Thank you, Pastor Antoine. Appreciate you for joining. Let's see if we can find, all right. All right, I think I have, yeah, I got it. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, babe. Okay, so so Anchor has been one of the more popular vehicles for people to easily record themselves, some easy plugins, start a podcast, and move forward. It has been one of the easier ones. And I would say by far, it's the easiest. Radio started, and I have Awesome Guy Radio here because I believe we are a platform also that can host your content in a podcast-like fashion. We have a website. You can send people to the website, or you can share your content from the website to your social media platforms. Remember, podcasting is a file that can be shared, that's in a way that it's a file that can be shared, listened to at any time, in a series, an installment, and it notifies people automatically. When you ask what is a podcast, that's what it is. Hey, you can do that with a lot of different vehicles, can't you? Yes. So what Anchor does is it's becoming a popular platform about what the issues are with using one or the other. Okay, I have YouTube here and I have Facebook. There are challenges with using those platforms as host platforms for podcasting. Does anybody have any idea of why using Facebook or YouTube may be a challenge for your podcast?
This is Kimberly Harrison. I'm going to just jump. I don't know for sure, but I think it's because you can't share the file.
Okay.
It's not a digital file.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a techie. I'm not a techie.
Well, the fact that you said that means that it's not easily able to share. So there may be, it's possible, but for me, you may not know, right? How to do that where it makes it easily able to share. Okay, anybody else want to take a shot at it? Why is it so hard to use YouTube or Facebook?
Like to take a stab at it. I think it's like probably a few reasons, and one of them is just it doesn't give you the platform to reach people. Like it has to be an association and all of that involved with Facebook. It limits your reach. It limits your reach.
Okay, that's a good point. All right, limits your reach. Anyone else? One more. Why are those two hard to use as a podcast?
This is Arissa. I think that maybe because they have so many stipulations on what you can and cannot share and how you can share it.
Good. That's good. I like that. All of those answers were correct. But one of the major issues of having those as a platform for podcasting is because you and I, all of us, are using it for multiple purposes. So I'm posting pictures of my son, my wife, and my children on Monday, but I really need y'all to listen to what I got to say on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Oh, no, I just traveled. I went to Jamaica and, everything's good. But, now I'm going to have a Tourette moment where I need you to shut down and just call y'all, just go live when I'm in my car. I mean, we are using it for everything. And what happens is because there's so much information that is coming through our standard platforms that we use, one of the issues that most people are having with social media is that you are not organizing and putting your content in places where people can easily access what you're trying to share. Now, it's nothing wrong with sharing one or the other. By all means, we have to do that because we're speaking into an audience that of most people we know. And so you have to find a way to get the information out. But our efforts have to start changing. And I want to share with that as we go forward. I will share with you some of the behaviors that we have to change if you're trying to grow and trying to put some momentum behind your podcast, which is an archive file that normally comes in segments or installments, can be downloaded by anybody and or shared and automatically notifies your listeners. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay, so one of the things that the conversation discussions about podcasting versus live streaming, this is a very good way to really talk or to share what the differences are. So podcasting, been sharing that definition. Live streaming is very easy. You take one of your platforms and you essentially stream from either YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. I wanted to show this figure up just so you guys can see. There are Facebook, and this might be old information, I'm sure, 1.9 billion people are using it monthly, active users. YouTube, 1.3. Viewing time, 3 billion hours. Similarly the same where people are watching YouTube, almost the same. What's the difference between the two? And we're going to share a little bit about that in this slide. I wanted to show you guys just some percentages in terms of where most people are watching live stream video. All right, so as you can see, there's like 17%, which is probably the most for Facebook. And this is probably data, as you see, from 2016. Now, a lot of things have evolved with live data for Facebook since it first launched. You got to believe that it's gone up significantly since that time. And in terms of how many people are watching, the percentages of people, what people are doing, their behaviors of live streaming. So comparing podcasting to live streaming is such that you're getting engagement, people are connecting with you, people are talking to you while you're live, people are exchanging ideas. You can take a pulse on whether it's interesting or not. How do you do that? Well, how is your engagement, your retention? Are people staying on when you're live? Or are they just coming in and getting a couple minutes and leaving out? Think about your own behaviors when you go on Facebook and you are scrolling through your timeline and you find stuff. Now, for people you know, you may stay for a little while because you're supporting them, you're interested in what they have to say, regardless of what they're saying. There's that core group of people that we always talk to, the core group, right? I heard another preacher break it down that way. Your core, your crowd, and something else Dr. Bryant mentioned. Anytime you go live, you have different segments of people coming in. So as we do, people we know, we love, we support them. Then there's a group that are people just stopping in. And I want you to know that the people who are stopping in on your lives, they determine whether they're interested or not based on your content. And we'll talk about content in a little bit, but live streaming is by far the greatest way to grow, create, introduce any kind of podcasting. I will build this bridge for you, but I want to prioritize live streaming versus podcasting. Live streaming is something that they're still growing on. Platforms are coming up, they're still growing where people are engaging. There's only one reason why. Think about services now. Think about businesses now. Think about what would it be if everything had to be recorded and we were living right now in what's going on in the pandemic in an on-demand kind of world. It'd be tough right now if everything I needed to know could only be in the encyclopedia that's in my house with dust on it that somebody sold to me 25 years ago. Y'all remember those days where everything you needed to know was in an encyclopedia? Well, today we have grown from the archival kind of state of mind to a real-time kind of situation. Most of y'all don't even watch the news anymore. You wait for it to come on your timeline and you're watching the news from real-time streaming. So this chart also gives you some options in terms of which platforms that you want to stream on. Now this list is low. Facebook, YouTube. I've never heard of Live Stories, but I believe, internationally, there's some other ones. Periscope and Twitter are virtually the same. I think they're owned by the same company. And there are some other live stream opportunities. Let me give you another live stream opportunity. If you're on Wix, you can stream to your own website. I don't know if you knew that, but Wix allows you to plug your encoder from your website into any platform that will stream per se, and you can stream to your website. I use a software called Wirecast. I don't want to get too technical, but Wirecast is a streaming platform. It's a tool basically that takes a camera and sound, and you have to tell it where to go. So that's what Anchor does. That's what Facebook does. That's what YouTube does. It takes your camera and your sound and it processes to you. You tell it where to go. I need you to, my destination is my profile name, my group, and or a public setting. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, let's move forward. Here's a chart that shows the differences with on-demand versus live video, okay? And this is the amount of minutes spent watching live video versus video on demand per play. Look at the difference between people engaging, watching a live video versus on demand. I gotta say this because I really want you guys to hear me in the most sincere and concerned way. all right? When you are watching social media and you notice that something that is on there that you've seen before, the first thing you might do, unless it's very interesting, it's funny, or something engaging, you're gonna go to the next video. You also are prone to stop watching it if it's pre-recorded, but appears to be live. Now, I know that it's unfortunate that we are doing these things, but we're evolving. People want new stuff. Some of the feedback from ministries and churches are, is my pastor going live? 1, is he preaching a new sermon? 2, or is he replaying something that he preached 6 months, a year, 2,000 years ago? And the answer is most people are saying, I want something either live or new. And so they will connect with a new message and something that's live versus listening or watching, or their attention or minutes spent to those videos that are on demand. All right, we're at the place now, and I'm gonna come out of this screen, and I want a couple of you to unmute. I heard that there are at least a couple of persons that are with us today that are venturing to possibly start their own platform today. So I want to challenge any person or any brave person who's out here that would like to get started today to first share, if they're ready to create their profile, go into the program and see what needs to be done, take some suggestions as maybe some tools and some things that you may need. You may not be able to start today, but learn something from what it will take for you to get started. So I want to have this as an engagement moment, but I want to do it for everybody. And if I don't have a brave person that will step up and say, okay, AJ, I want you to help me, then I'm going to either pick someone or I'm going to create a fake profile name and put your name on it and your profile, and then we're going to move forward with that. How's that? All right. So who's brave enough that wants to step up and want to be a part of What Are You Waiting For? Let's get it going now.
AJ, brother AJ.
Yes.
Kimberly Harrison.
Hey.
You said something that resonated with me. Well, my podcast is on Anchor, but I didn't know until today that you're saying people are more prone to look at real-time information rather than a recorded information. So how would I turn that podcast into no. How would I turn it into a live, real-time vehicle?
Okay, I got you. You were coming in and out, and so I'm so grateful you said that, because there is a part that I missed in saying this, okay? Live streaming is, let's say, the greatest opportunity for you to grow your podcast. There is a place for live streaming, but there's also a place for podcasting. And I want to present to everybody who's here today that I would suggest you do both. And if you have capability, the idea is to go live with your recording. Have live recordings of your broadcasts. Have live recordings. This is one of the weak sides of Anchor. Because if you are using an Anchor platform, it allow you to go live and then take your Anchor and plug it, and use it or archive it for sharing. So everybody's running to Anchor, which is cool. I love it. It sounds good. I've seen a lot of them. But the problem is, how do I get the reach that I need? Listen, I've been doing radio for a long time now, and I discovered something. I'm sharing this transparently with you guys. Look, this we all open. Everybody's vulnerable. Let's talk about it, okay? One of the hardest things that I've ever been able to get people to do is to leave Facebook to go and listen to the station on the app. I'm going to say again, you know how hard it is to get people to leave Facebook. I want you to leave Facebook to go and listen to my show on my Awesome God Radio app that we pay the money for, that we, create all these nice graphics and stuff on our app. We done spent a lot of time and effort and money on it. But to see how it's so hard to draw traffic to the, I mean, I had Jay Moss on our station one day. I just knew, oh my goodness, Rissa can tell you, I just knew we made it. We did our thing. This is it. Jay Moss, early in our Awesome God Radio days.
Fishing
here. But when I went back to look at the numbers, after all the effort, looking at just the streaming numbers for the listeners on the app, I've learned that people's behaviors are such that they don't want to be inconvenienced to go to somewhere else. Now, that's one aspect. But as you gain followers, as you become a community, as you create the community that you're looking for, as you engage, as you start growing it, your on-demand community not only becomes your, oh, I missed you live, now I have to go, but your on-demand community becomes its own community, because in the platform you're using, let's say Anchor, SoundCloud, or whatever, that's a community also. You have to create communities. I started this broadcast saying, you have to create communities everywhere. And I know that we spend time cultivating our content, but can I tell you that most of us, including us, me, are spending more time on perfecting our look, perfecting our content, perfecting our public speaking, but we are not building meaningful, efficient communities that then share with each other and help us to grow. Here's something. What does it feel like when somebody else shares your video or your podcast or your link? What does that feel like? Just take a moment. What does it feel like when you post something and one of your friends, your family, they say, hey, make sure you check out so-and-so? What does that make you feel like? You can't help to say thank you. You can't help to hit the love button on things like that. Why? Because your community is responding to what you have purpose to be part of your purpose. Make sense?
All right. Can I say something really quick?
Absolutely, jump right in.
And I think that's why I haven't started my second season, because I'm listening to everything that you said. One thing, and I could be wrong, I don't know, I went through a boot camp to start my podcast, which I think you would be totally great at because you're so assertive. So you should definitely do that. I started a boot camp for it, and I say you should do it because I want to. When I did it, it was for, and I don't want to be crazy, but it was from unbelievers, and I want to do it with believers because I think that the encouragement and the prayer is going to be something that's going to take everybody's podcast to another level that it wouldn't do before. But what you're saying is right, and I just want to say, from a person who has, I've done a season 1 of podcasting. I've tried to do the live feed, and it is very it can be very scary because when you do your recorded podcasting, no one can see your face. And I know that on some of my podcasts, I was crying on some of those podcasts. I got really good feedback, but to cry in front of people and while they're watching me, that was a total different thing. Yeah. But it is the part that you say, the community, that is a big piece. And when you commit yourself to doing a podcast, you literally take your personal Facebook account and your personal Instagram account, and it changes. Just like that. You have to be careful of what you post, and you have to schedule things. And that's why I haven't done a season 2, is because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And if you want to actually get that feedback, you're going to get it from a live feed versus people downloading it. Unless you've been podcasting and listening to other people's podcasts before it became a big and popular thing, then you are used to that. You're used to downloading and, you know, taking out that time and on your car rides listening to people's podcasts. But everybody else, they want to see your face.
Oh
They
my
want
goodness.
to they want to see everything. And so I definitely want to say that you seem wonderful. Like, I think I met you once through Ebony, but it was probably like some
Wow.
passerby. But you're very wonderful, and I really
Thank
want to
you.
encourage you to do a boot camp, because people, I was listening to everybody. That's why I didn't even want to go. I was listening to everybody, and everybody has such powerful businesses and powerful stories and ministries, and you need to be heard. But it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little
Right.
scary to go
Right.
through that, and you definitely need this community. So everyone that's on this call needs to take this seriously and take you seriously and take the community and the leadership that you're giving, because trying to go out and do it on your own, you will get burned out quickly and you will give up on that, and you don't want to give up on the ministry that God has given you. So definitely take this call seriously.
So in my station, we have an applause button, but here I can't hit the applause button for you. So listen, I thank you for sharing that. I want to respond in this because it makes so much sense to why I'm so passionate about this. You said that when you started, you were in a group with non-believers. Now, people are saying, well, why can't you work with the non-believers? Listen, we know what it means to try to get your faith base or something that God has given you, where there is in so many ways a mixed crowd, or there is a lot of different things that are moving that may not align with what it is that you have. My brother G Long and I will share the story about how we started our station. And before we became Awesome God Radio, we were a part of a platform where there was many other moving parts. And so one of the things that he and I would talk about just about every Saturday was, one day we're going to be on the Stellar Awards. One day we're going to go there. You know, one day God's going to allow us to do our own. And a lot of what we were sharing wasn't because we were unfulfilled in the actual show. We knew the show, there was more, but we knew that God could take what we were doing and build, a community of its own. And I used to look at that beautiful edifice that we were recording in with all that nice equipment, and I would say, you know, God can do this too. So I think that we have to know the communities that we play a part of. There are very successful podcasters out there. Soon as they drop their podcast in, 10s, 20, 30,000 downloads. People want to hear notification listeners. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the key is, what community are you pushing your endeavors to? What kind of responses are you anticipating from that community as well? Thank you for sharing. I got really excited. I want to keep moving. I can honor your time. But is there any other person who's saved? The boot camp sounds good. But I would like for anyone who wants to, we're going to take 5-10 minutes to just talk about which platform you want to go on. What do you need to do to make that happen? And then we can go from there.
Hello, hey everybody. Hi AJ. I wanted to be the one. I wanted to be the one to jump in and take the plunge.
Amen.
I wanted to
Sister,
go ahead and do
brave.
it. I'm the one that I need the push, man.
All right, good stuff. All right, sister. So let me ask you a couple questions before we do this, and then I'm going to share my screen. Platform would you like to begin, and tell me why?
What platform? I don't know. Well, it sounds like Anchor would be the way to go, because you said it's easy.
Okay, excellent.
Because you said it's easy.
Now, that's a good answer.
Popular,
Anchor is popular. Anchor is good. I have suggested Anchor to so many because it's plug and play, so it would work for you. But I want to ask you this question: Does it mean that then, if you use Anchor, is not having video for your podcast a game changer for which platform you use? Or would you
At
prefer
one
that
time,
be video?
at one time, I did not want the video because I'm like, I had all of these things in my mind as far as I've gotten used to it. I'll just say that I've gotten used to it. So I would like the video. I did not before because I had all of these things in my mind about I don't want people to focus on how I look and what I got on. And I have had that once. I've had that once come up like with someone. And it wasn't a big thing, and it wasn't, you know, a game changer for me. But I'm like, see, that's the thing. I want, you know, the meat of what I'm talking about to be the major focus. So I would like the video. So I guess Anchor would not be the best
Okay.
platform.
Okay, Alyssa, I'm not very familiar with those podcasting platforms. I will say that some of them allow video, some of them don't. I also
Well, with Audacity, let me tell you, with Audacity, I use that to go live. So, but it's a couple of extra steps though. So with Audacity, all you're doing is just recording your voice, and then it lets you edit it. And so with that, Podbean is a platform. You can record from Podbean if I'm not mistaken, but what you would do is download into Podbean, and then it would shoot it off to Spotify, to Google Play, and to iTunes like you want it to.
Yes.
So with the Audacity piece, what I like about that is that you can go live while you're recording, but then you can edit it and add some extra pieces in there and some other things for the people who download you. So it's like a twofer, but it's a little tough.
You can't get the full picture, right? It's like I understand that. So going live with just audio. Now let me say this, unless you're a DJ, when you see somebody going live and they don't have a video, do you go in and listen to what they're saying? Now I'm just asking you guys. Yes, it depends on who it is, but if it's somebody you don't know, are you going to join the live? So remember, you're trying to get a reach, and what you want is a reach that when somebody sees your content on their timeline, without them even connecting, I'm sorry, y'all, I got to get this out. Without them even hitting the button to go into your live, what do they see that draws them to wanting to join your live? Is there a title block there? We call it lower thirds. Is there any graphics on your presentation? Is there any music playing in the background? By what you're saying, does anything that you're saying connect with them? These are the things you and I look for when we join a live. I'll go into somebody who's preaching, and you know, you go in and they say all kind of okay, all right, let's keep it moving. Right? It's me, because we almost had a listener. Okay, so let's keep going forward. Sister, you are saying that video is not a priority for you.
It is.
It is a priority?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a Facebook
video?
You do want your video, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you want video and you want a podcast, I'm going to suggest, now there's many platforms, I'm going to suggest YouTube. Okay? I'm going to suggest YouTube. And this will be your content place. So this is what you're going to create a page only for your videos that you're doing your Surrender to Love segment in. Is that okay? Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's take a few minutes to do this, y'all. This won't be hard. All right, I'm going to share my screen to this new share. We're going to use this screen here, and I'm going to share this. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're in YouTube, or we're going to. I just searched it. We're going to click YouTube. All right. Now this looks crazy, right? Nothing says podcasting, just so much information. Information overload. What in the world am I going to do? How do I start? Oh my God, this is overwhelming, right? That's how I feel when I come through here. What you have to do is you have to go in and sign in. Now, YouTube, obviously, like all platforms, you need some kind of dedicated login. Do you have a Gmail account?
Yes. T.
Or you want to put it in here? Okay, T, go ahead.
Oh, what did you want? What
Nope,
you need?
nope, go ahead. This is fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's T.S. Wilson.
Okay.
S as in Sam, Wilson212@gmail.com.
All right. Are you comfortable with sharing your password? You can change it after here. Is that okay?
No, I gotta look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just change it. No problem.
Okay.
I don't even know what it is. You know that the automatic sign in that we have now. So
Now, some of y'all got
I
some
don't
funny
even-
passwords while you looking for it. You know, I hate my cat. Stuff like that. But
there we go.
what you say?
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you good. Y'all encourage her because look, she's getting ready to get started. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, this is what we're here to do today. And again, for those who are doing video, I have 2 suggestions for your videos. YouTube is one, Facebook is another, but I'm going to show you how the Facebook works. Okay, and we'll talk about it. We'll spend another time. I like that boot camp idea because then that would be specifically for that. But because we have the varying layers, I wanted to do this. Okay, are you okay? You ready?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's Angel, lowercase Angel, ANGEL 1910.
910. Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay. You are here. You are here. All right. So you're
now. I have.
Go ahead.
I have started a page. And I have a banner. That's all that's on there.
Excellent. I see that. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to go to your channel. Did y'all see that? I clicked the icon and I went into your channel. Now, when you come in your channel, it'll have your banner, which we see, right? Looks like you got started. And then you have videos. Okay. So it looks like you have not yet added any of your videos, right?
Not yet.
Good. We're in a good place. So the basics you have done. Now, your banner, your profile picture, your image for somebody who does not know you is the most important. So for you, sister, I know you love the butterfly, but guess what? You are, and you, my sister, I can say this, are more beautiful than that butterfly. And not only that, I want to see my sister's face when I come in. So just right, you want to take a professional photo. Just a couple suggestions, and this is for everybody, not necessarily you, but maybe a headshot photo, or you can actually put a logo that fits in there that says "Surrender to Love." You know, anything, because your icon is going to travel places and land places that you want people to be intrigued enough to click it. And once they click it, then what is surrender to love? Oh my goodness, that's good, right? So you want them to do that. All right, you follow? Okay. So that would just be a suggestion. And then, so you have a page. So you come in, click this, you can add a photo or banner. How many of you guys struggle with having graphical design? All right. And we need to talk about graphic design, family.
Me. Gee whiz. Is this Kim? Can I chime in real quick?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I think that's the hardest part. I'm sorry, y'all. My son's playing the saxophone. I hope you I don't know why he's doing it now. I think that's where I get stuck because everybody don't understand my frustration. I know everybody has to make money. I know that. But when you're just starting out in the business, you really don't have a lot of money. But everybody wants to charge you everything for graphics, for photos, for every freaking thing. And it gets, I think that's why I'm a little stuck. Like, I think it was, where am I? So I think it was Nicole. Your headshot is beautiful. I need to get a new headshot.
Right.
You know, it's so many things. So yes, I do struggle with graphic design.
Thank you.
And Kay knows that. Kay knows.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I appreciate that. And I want you guys to know that there are tiers of help when it comes to graphic design. Okay? Tiers. I'm going to share all of the tiers. When I say tiers, not crying tears, but layers.
That's what I thought you meant.
Okay. All right. And we're going to move forward. I got you, sis. The one tier of support is that you can do it yourself. Now, I want every person that's on this webinar to know there is not one thing you can't do graphically on your own. You can do it.
I'm a believer.
You need a website. You need some tools to help you develop these banners, flyers on the go. When you have a podcast or radio show, you don't have time and you don't have money. Thank you, Kay. Shares many of you. You don't have the time, the money, the resources to send them to people, have them do it, and come back. Now you can create a team. What did I say? Community. Your community should also include somebody that you trust, that you can put certain tasks in their hands and say, hey, can you create a flyer for me to do X, Y, Z? My wife has flyers recently for the past year or two since she's launched. Shout out to the Serve Suite. And I would say something like what she's doing is another tier of support, because maybe your tools that you have doesn't quite meet what you're trying to do. You need a huge response to something that you need a huge response. You need a little bit more traction than your normal weekly shows. I don't want to do it myself this time. This is something I see your hand with. This is something that I think I want to kind of go beyond my own expertise. Let me see if I can do that. And so you can get a person within your group who has graphical design experience. You got to have somebody in the pocket that won't hurt you or break you. Go ahead, Whit, jump in.
So what I was going to say is also looking at some websites like Fiverr. Fiverr is a website where there are professionals that are there and you can put the services that you need, but they are, reasonably priced. I'm talking like $5 to $10. You can put like a budget in for what you want. So there's Fiverr. Also Canva. Canva is another place that has a lot of templates that you can actually build things yourself as well. So those are just some tips that you can use.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Fiverr is one of the very first websites that I went to start everything. I'm talking about from our press release to, so many things. And once you get a good person that actually does it, they will sell you items outside of the standard $5 ones. You can make it as sophisticated as you can. All right. So we will post as many as we can after this training. If you need some help with some more resources there, please inbox me, let me know, and we'll do that. All right, Sister Trina, you still hanging with us?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Sister Trina, you know how to access this. Now, when you come into your Surrender to Love segment, okay, there's two things. First, you are going live. All right. So you are now going live. Every day at 8:30, Sister Trina is going live. But you also have a YouTube page. So the first thing I want to say is that we need to get you to connect your live recordings to your YouTube page. I wasn't able to say this, or I didn't have the ability to figure that out prior to our StreamYard platform. If those who are on that don't know what StreamYard is, don't get confused. It allows us to broadcast to up to 5 destinations. So now, Sister Trina, you can continue streaming on Facebook as you do every day, but now you want to stream to your YouTube platform because you want your YouTube platform to have videos that only host Surrender to Love, snippets of you, okay? I know, and let me just say this, many of us are part of teams. This is a For You platform we're talking about today. So many times we're supporting each other as a team. That's great. Supporting other friends and family, that's great. But today we're talking about your purpose and your brand. We have to find a place to highlight what you do, all right? So we're going to connect only the videos you're doing Surrender to Love Live to your YouTube page. So videos going forward will come to your YouTube page. Follow me?
Yes.
You have a problem. How long have you been live now?
Since February.
So you've been live since February, every single day. And now it's May 3rd. I would say you have enough content to share forever. You got plenty of content. Okay? So you got to say, well, do I want to bring my lives to my Facebook page? Let's go to Facebook and see if we can find you there, okay?
Yeah.
And these are for the persons who are actively recording, who currently have something going on. Oh my goodness, I don't remember my password, but let's see if we can do it this way.
Hey, AJ, why are you
Yes.
doing that? How you're mentioning StreamYard and then you're mentioning YouTube. How do you, if it's live, how do you, I mean, I know how to record a live video on YouTube, but how do you do that simultaneously in Facebook?
So StreamYard has no allegiance to any of these platforms. It will go where you tell it to go. So basically you are creating your own destination in StreamYard and it will stream wherever you would want it to go. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
the same live would be on Facebook, like it's unique. It'll be on YouTube, like it's unique, Periscope. I mean, when you're in those lives, you don't know that it's also live in all these other platforms, but it's literally streaming to each one of those platforms at the same time. It's called simulcasting, okay?
Simulcast.
Okay.
The simulcast, that's very critical to what we're doing, because when you go live under your name, you're only going live in one of your many ponds. I want y'all to hear me. Every time you go live on Facebook, if Facebook is your only place that you are streaming to or sharing content to, you are not effectively getting the word out like you should. You should be live everywhere that there's capability to go live. Everywhere, your Facebook, your Wix account, you should be live at your Wix account that then goes to your website. You should be live on Facebook. You should be live on YouTube. And guess what? At this point, because we're all starting and we're trying to grow our communities, worry about growing the following after you find an efficient way to manage your content. Did you catch that? Because many of you are worrying about seeing me, and you get discouraged and you stop because you're worrying about how many views am I getting. I should have said this in the beginning, but I want you guys to really stop paying attention to the views. We'll deal with that in just a minute. But right now, focus on content management, how good it looks, how clean is it, how professional it is, and where it is. That's the first step. Let's resolve there before we talk about expanding our communities, okay? So, Sister Trina, we're back to you, all right? All right, I want to show you guys a very easy way. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. But Sister Trina already has her YouTube, but her video that she's already done on 5/3, which was today, is streaming on Facebook. So here's what we're gonna do. The first thing that I'm gonna do, because I want to take this video and put it on YouTube, is that I'm gonna click the video. I'm gonna mute it because I don't want it to play out. Okay?
Why?
Huh? Okay. Now, here's the funny thing about Facebook. It will allow you, and it should, it'll allow me to get that file. This is what you were talking about, Kim. How do I get the file?
This is the part that I need, but I can't see what you're doing for some reason. I can't see.
Okay, hang on. Let me switch something really quick. Thank you. I'm going to share this. Okay, can y'all see that?
Okay.
All right. So I had to switch for a few. All right. So here I am. This was your bar. Okay. And let me back up. This was your video, right, that you did today. Is that right? All right. I clicked the video. I'm going to mute. Okay. You see it in the bar? I'm going to erase www. I'm going to take all of this out, and I'm going to leave just the .Facebook, Cat Wilson, everything else. You see? All right. You guys can watch this later because it's in the AGR Partners tab. You put an M there, and you hit. Now, when you put an M there and you hit enter, it's going to seem like nothing changed. But what it did was it changed to like a mobile app kind of view. This is what you see on your cell phone app in this format. It's small on our screen, but on your phone, it fits your phone screen or your tablet well. Okay. Now that I got it in this format, I took all that stuff, I put the M, I'm going to click the video again. It's going to take me to this dedicated Facebook window screen, full screen. Now I can right click, save video as, all right? And I'll leave it in my downloads, Surrender to Love, and we'll put 5/3/2020, okay? Now, for me, I like to put MP4. You don't have to put MP4, but I know that the file type is MP4 because MP4 is video and audio. MP3 is just audio. Make sense? All right, hit enter. Now it's saved into my download folder. All right, can you guys see this or no? Or you still see the screen? Okay.
I see it. I see it.
We're good.
Okay, so I downloaded it into that folder. I'm gonna go back to your YouTube page, which I think I have here. All right. And I'm going to share now back where we were in the, where are you? Okay, here. Okay, so we're back to Surrender to Love. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
All right, and here we go. Upload video.
What? I'm sorry. I never
Nope,
do all this. I'm sorry.
That's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're going to take some steps, y'all. Take some steps. Okay. Select video. And then I just had it in my download, Surrender to Love 5/3. All right. Now, this is the fun part. And I want you all to understand that podcasting also is critical. What do you see on your screens? Do you see what I see where the it's showing STL 5/3/2020? Y'all see that? Okay.
1, 2, 3.
This is where a lot of people make mistakes. Okay. I'm not a good speller, so I need you to help me. 2 R's.
Yes.
Okay. To love.
Yes.
All right. Let's say today's the date. Do you remember the title?
I don't.
All right. So for this one, you could always go back and change the title.
Okay.
We always make a mistake. We don't take the time to really fill this information in. And this kind of screen is for, I don't care what you're uploading. On Anchor, all of those platforms give you this opportunity that when you upload content, I need you to put as much information as you can here. So here, Sister Trina, you want to put in, do you have an Instagram or Twitter name?
Oh, man.
Okay.
I do.
So
Trina's Beautiful Village for Instagram.
Trina's Beautiful Village.
Beautiful Brown Village.
Beautiful Brown Village. Well, amen.
It's so long. I'm not changing it though.
I'll find it.
I won't forget that. But here's the deal. You want to put your contact information, Cat Wilson, on Facebook, you know, something like this. All right. You also want to put in, you know, you have your Twitter, Instagram handles. If you have a website, you want to put in your website. You want to put your email address. You want to put as much info here The other thing you want to do is you want to select. Now it's thinking about which thumbnails to do. It's loading the video up. So some of the video content, once it starts coming in, you can select which thumbnail is, and the thumbnail is important because when you share it, that's the picture that shows up everywhere you go. Okay. All right. So this is important. You want to say no to kids. If it's defaulted at yes, it's not going to be a big deal. But streaming content, now there's a new rule that you have to let the providers know if there's anything that's for children. Okay. You click more options. There's some other stuff in here. You don't have to worry about paid promotion. Tags are critical to podcast. Surrender to Love, Cat Wilson, put your name in it. So when people Google you, they'll know where you are, who you are. If you want to put Awesome God Radio, okay? Like your topics. What are you talking about? What information? If you're talking about Lil Kim, you want to put Lil Kim in there.
Oh, wow.
About Jesus, you want to put Jesus in there. The Bible.
Put it in there. Mm-hmm.
Now, why are these important? Because as people are searching for this stuff, and this is what separates your podcast from just your content. How do I make my content show in search views? I need to make sure I tag it and put all the relevant information in it so that it's searchable. All right? And it might take some time and it may seem boring, but you absolutely want to make sure you do that. Okay? All right.
Is that each time, or does this one time set it up? Is that
what
with
I
each
do?
upload?
Every upload. Now,
Okay.
as you go live, you may not be able to do it until after you come out of it. So there may be some maintenance of going back into the back into your videos. Edit the video, click edit video, and in your more options, you'll see all that you can do to add the stuff. The best thing to do is to have, like, there's some tags that you're going to say every single time, right? So save those into like a Word document or something or notepad that you can always copy, paste it in. But then the relevant stuff of your show. So like if you were talking about Clark Sisters, you would want to have hashtag Clark Sisters.
Right. Okay.
And that way it would help you to move forward. Okay? All right, let's move forward. So now we've done everything here. We're going to click next. This right here doesn't have much. It's just some elements that you don't really need to pay attention to. Now, what I love about both Facebook and YouTube is that you can premiere your video. It's your podcast. You can have a whole big grand, hey, y'all, I'm doing something great. I want you to see it. Okay? So you can do that here. All right? Or you can just save it, publish it as you want to. Now, if you wanted to schedule it, that's where the premiere comes in.
Oh, okay.
As a premiere, and then you can set your time and date of when you want to release it. Now, some people do this, and then they go to their social media platforms and say, hey, subscribe to my page. I'm premiering a new episode of Surrender to Love at 8:30, so-and-so. Now, this is how you partner with using your live audience to get them to do something like subscribe to your YouTube page so that they get notifications. Because remember, getting automatic notifications is an attribute of a podcast. We shared earlier. You need that notification. People need that notification. By the way, it's not personal if people that you care about are not following you or listening to you.
Right.
Being a part of your podcast. I'm going to say this. Most of us have supportive villages who want to see us go and do the best. The problem is we need to make it so easy for people to be able to never miss anything. And there's a balance. Either you spam, you get a notification like spam, which most of us don't have time for, or you set them up in a way that they can follow you or subscribe, and they'll get notifications as soon as you get that. All right, that's good information. I'm telling y'all it's important because we're talking about getting likes and hits and who's following us. You have to take the responsibility to make sure that your content that you share is easy enough for people to access. Do not assume just because they're on Facebook that that's enough. And that's one of our biggest mistakes. By the way, if you post something on Facebook, you may only have 25 to 30% of your people that will see you in an hour show. It might not even notify them until after your show is over. Did you know that?
Right. I can't stand that.
So 25, 30%. Now, if you have, like me, I have 5,000 people now. I just reached 5,000 this year. 25%, I'm not going to do the math. Somebody can tell me. But, I mean, traffic you get is subject to a number of people that Facebook will notify. But if all 5,000 of my people went into my live and clicked the button that says, I want to be notified when this person goes live, then I would have a greater rate of people joining my live, because now I'm getting what? Notifications that I've been live. I want to say that again because I know some people are missing, even for those that are on our shows. We don't promote and tell people, I know you just joined the live, please click the notification so that you know when we go live, where you never miss any information from us. These are the kind of conversations we need to share so that we can grow. And when somebody hits that notification, you have now grown your following. Your following now has went from A to B. All right. So we're going to click save here, and we're going to move rapidly, y'all, toward the end of the webinar in just a few. We still have so much to cover, but I don't want to miss anything. Okay. See the YouTube that says, sorry, we cannot able to save your video. Let's try it again. All right. It's already in there, so I'm not sure what it's doing, but you already have your link and everything is there.
Oh, it says video is too long.
Now, I don't know what that means, but I have posted an hour-long video. How long is your video, sister? How long? Well, it was said it was 40 minutes. That's not the case. You can do much more. Okay, so there may be something with your video because you're just creating your YouTube channel, and it could be some restrictions there, which is very important to know and understand. I don't have that issue with mine. But what I would do, sister, in your case, and I'm glad we saw this issue, is to really start creating, and Karen, I want you to put this down as a note, that we need to start getting Trina some followers, because I know that YouTube, different from Facebook, will require you to start having activity, some followers, anything that will help, to know that you're broadcasting to some kind of audience. Also need to look up your emails to make sure that there are any settings or anything that you need to accept, because YouTube is very funny with that. Okay?
Okay, got it.
I want to first applaud you, because I think that information for you is meaningful. It's great, and you can use it. All right. I want to flip back over to Facebook. Can you guys see where I'm at right now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was one option for video feeds. Okay. Oh my goodness.
AJ, we're gonna need part 2 to this.
Okay, I know y'all have to go, but I need to do some more stuff, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not rushing you. I'm just saying it's so the information you're sharing.
Yes.
It's so great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank y'all for joining us.
Boot camp. If you need me to help you steal all the stuff, I will give it to you.
Yes, I will pay.
I appreciate it. By the way, that's a good segue to say my Cash App is in my. This is but sure enough, if y'all want to hear, you can. That was timely, Kim. I knew it.
You know I'm about the money. I'm sorry. I mean,
well, I would hope that we are all doing this, and at some point in our passion and what we do, that it would
profit. Yeah.
It would pay. I mean, if we're not doing it, and y'all, I'll change my password at some time. Y'all can see this. All right, but 350. Not for, okay. All right. We all family here. If you go on my Facebook page, that means you got to answer all of the crazy questions I get from AGR. Okay. So not from our AGR family, but people wanting to listen to music and all that other stuff. Play my music. Okay. Okay. So, all right. I don't want to do that. Stay logged in. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we are. So, the other platform that I would suggest you guys use, I heard people saying Anchor. Anchor is very easy. It's a plug and play. It's created for that purpose. I would suggest that you do. If you don't go to YouTube, now I wouldn't suggest you do both unless you have somebody to manage both. Now YouTube is easier because now you have, I'm sorry, let me back up. If you are streaming live to YouTube, that's fine. You can do that. You can also stream live to your page. Okay, so your other podcast platform that includes video could also be Facebook by way of a Facebook page. Now, Facebook pages are by far one of the most powerful tools that Facebook has given us. Because if you have a Facebook page, the Facebook page itself, you can actually advertise and boost and strategically promote your own content to any person, any place, any demographic, anywhere, as long as you're willing to spend some money. Now, I don't know about y'all, but for me, that is one of the most powerful tools for people like us who may not be famous or have 1 million people following us. So how do I go outside of the 5,000? How do I get my message outside the 5,000? Well, Facebook gives you that opportunity. Twitter gives you that opportunity that when you post something, you can strategically post it and boost it. I'll go to our Awesome God Radio page. One of the things that Kay's been doing an amazing job is sharing content. Content sharing is important. And since we're here, I'll share a little bit about it because it's coming up, but hey, guess what? This will be helpful, okay? If you look now, here's my flyer. You know, I posted this. Then there's a boost post option here. Mm-hmm. We can click that boost post and I can go in here and I'm not gonna go through the logistics, but guess what, y'all? Everything you need to know is here.
Yeah.
You click that website, it takes them to Awesome God Radio. I have all of these preset audiences with age ranges. You know, you can go in and put attributes like, the person likes gospel music? No. You know, all kind of things that will narrow your audience to really touch the timelines of those who are more subject to engaging in your stuff. My sister Erin is here and she was sharing that she wants to do something for Black Girls Theology. That's her page, that's her podcast that's coming to Awesome God Radio. And so just her sharing to her broad audience of people, everybody in our circles may not be interested in the theological discussions that we have. So how do I create and grow an audience for people who are almost like-minded to not me, but to the content that I'm sharing? And so when you're not seeing engagement, part of the issue is that you are sharing content to an audience that may not want to speak the language that you're trying to speak. And so what you're seeing is a fluctuation, not of support, but you're seeing a fluctuation of interest. That's what you're seeing. And so we have to build our pages to create an audience that the majority of the people on these pages that we're boosting to, that we're connecting with, that we're all being a part of, are people who certainly have some kind of interest to the overarching purpose that we talked about in the beginning. You create that. You have to find out how your purpose aligns with other people so that you can build your community. Y'all talking 2 different languages and you wonder why they're not listening to you every day, every week. Well, because I'm interested in this. And you're interested in that. I see a whole search of DJs and all this stuff. So we're going to keep moving. But what I want you to do is be conscious about the people who are engaging. And here are some examples of engagement. As soon as they like your post, they have engaged. Question to you. How many of you have gone back, looked at who's actually liked your page and have sent them a private message saying, listen, thank you so much for your support. We saw your like. We are doing XYZ. It'd be nice if you just click our thing for a notification so when we go live, so-and-so. How many of you are creating personal messages, thank yous to those who are supporting you from a distance? Now remember, people who are supporting from a distance really never expect for you to say anything to them. Because our culture of likes is that if you like it, thank you, we appreciate you. Do you say thank you to people who like? No, you don't say. But those are leads to grow your community. When I tell y'all this is hard work, it is hard work. Mm-hmm. There is I'm telling you, there is something about not just getting the like for your page, but something about learning somebody that you have never met anywhere else, having conversations every once in a while. Look, you're not weird for saying thank you. They engage with you first. If you don't know them, it's not crazy to go back and say thank you. They engage you first. But you'll find out that people all want the same things. And then they'll also share why they liked it if you don't know them. And some you do. So it opens up for you to grow your community. Again, I want to say thank you
we're done.
To my sister who was brave enough to take the critiques and some of the suggestions to how we can then get to the place where we are really sharing in a meaningful way, all right, to our platforms, all right? Any questions? We just have a few more things to do and then I'll let you go.
I had a quick question, if I can jump in real quick. I just wanted to know, because I was thinking about the reply aspect or the, getting back saying thank you aspect. And this might seem, I don't know, but is DM appropriate for that? Do you think that's appropriate, or like is just that? Is that appropriate for people that or people,
Right.
is DM?
So here's one of the things that I do, or I think that would work better. If you have a podcast place, there should be nobody off limits to talk to, unless you find them weird and you can just block them.
Okay.
Weird stuff, block them. But you think of a business, if somebody says anything to you in a business setting, you always want to be able to have a response, and a fast response. Social media, once they send the button, it's like a text message. They're expecting for you to respond almost instantaneously. So that is my thing. Inboxing is not off limits if you are talking about business, because some people like the privacy discussions or the quick, text message. You do not have to publicly post everything, but in your inbox, you can ask more questions that somebody may not. Like, hey, thank you for engaging on our post. We had a great show today, talked about 1, 2, 3. By the way, is there anything that WBI can do for you today to help you reach your goals? I see that now you let them know. Thank you. I appreciate you. Here's what we did. Now I've looked at your profile and noticed that you are, and all of this stuff can be pre-typed, and you just have to fill in a couple of things just to make it more personalized. But that's the goal. I hope I answered your question.
You did. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. All right. And that's the advantages of having your own page versus using your personal page, because people do get weird on social media, y'all. I'm telling y'all, but there are still yet some really great people out there that, as I shared, 1.6 billion on Facebook. And we talking about 5,000. Come on, y'all. We can do better. All right. So Let's keep it moving. How often? Semi-weekly. Now, this doesn't mean every other week. This means at least twice a week. Semi-weekly is twice a week. Now, my good brother, Rashad Mills, if you're still hanging with us, we had a discussion about the live versus the podcasting. I hope that some of what we discussed has helped. But one of the things that I am in a mindset of when it comes to our shows and some people who are already posting is that we go live and we share. Like you say, we don't have the liberty to edit and perfect what we do in our live settings. But then that second post should be something edited, created, something that's good, that number one, you can post into your podcast platform. So let's say you're going live via Facebook or YouTube, but then you do want to use Anchor, you want to use Spreaker, you want to use Podomatic, you want to use all of those other platforms that will load into another community of people. So that semi-weekly calendar should include you going live, getting engagement, connecting with those people, but also your podcasting or your podcast platform should be your content management place that you also are dropping in episodes and prayerfully has a whole total different community of people because everybody's not on Anchor. Most people who are on Anchor are people who are podcasters, right? So you on Anchor, but people aren't just on Anchor like Facebook, where people are just on Facebook and they're not particularly doing anything but engaging for other reasons. The only reason why we know about Anchor is because we're interested in podcasting or somebody has invited us to Anchor. But there are people who are on Anchor searching and trying to figure out who they want to listen to and why. Okay? So you want to stand out in that your content, and hear me, as best as you can, bring your content down. And I know I haven't asked the question in a long time, but I want somebody to unmute. How long should your content be if it's in a podcast?
That was my question. Thank you,
Yep.
AJ.
Gotcha. Anybody want to take a shot at that? I want to engage y'all. I know y'all are busy and this has been a long podcast, long discussion, but this is good. We almost.
I would say maybe about an hour.
Okay, an hour. Who? Anybody else?
I say at least 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. 15 minutes.
I was halfway there. I'm 8 minutes.
15 minutes. Do you know that the duration of somebody listening to us is 15 minutes? Not talking about attention spans. Attention spans is half that.
Yep.
15 minutes is the longest that somebody will take your content, look at how long it is, and decide whether they're going to watch the whole thing through. And you have the greatest chance of somebody taking all of what you said. Now, we have a 2-hour show on Saturday mornings. How in the world are we going to take a 2-hour show and condense it into 15 minutes? That will have to wait for our next podcast training. But what I will tell you is that in your podcast sharing, Nicole says 60 minutes. In your podcast, think about how hard it is to keep our attention in this day. It is absolutely impossible to keep people still long enough to listen to anything in an hour. Now, some people will watch the whole episodes, but most people jump in, get what they can, and they leave. You wrote a book, you give these people your book, you expect them to read the whole book. Can I tell y'all something? Most people are going to take the book and pace their way through it. They may get through it, they may not. So we have to know that making things simple for people is bringing it to a place where it hits and quits. And by the way, the most valuable information that we create when we do go live can be condensed down to 10 minutes. All right? We can have further dialogue about that. We're going to keep moving. All right, growing your audience. We'll go through this because we talked a lot about this already, and I won't take much time. All right? creating a unique page. We talked about that, YouTube channel or Facebook, whichever one you decide, right? Share quality content. We ran into a gold mine where we found out that people just want these nice little pretty meme flyers that have these quotes on it that seem to be quote unquote life-changing. Kay's been sharing it all of last year. We started this year. How do we grow our Facebook page? We went from, I don't know, maybe 11 or 1,200 likes last year to now we're at almost 3,000, because it's a hard process growing your like page unless you're spending money or you're famous or you are putting some everyday work into growing and getting people to like your page. You have to have an audience that's sharing on your behalf. And so we found ways to share quality content, high definition pictures, you know, some things that we're boosting, and we're seeing a high return of people liking the page. Here's a trick. If you get people to like the page after you boost it, you have a way to grow your page by them liking the photo. So if they like the photo, you can invite them to like the page. We've been using that method to grow our audience significantly on a like page. You can only do this on a Facebook page. It takes time and effort, but it's possible. The other thing is that once you start you grow the page, people are sharing your page on your behalf. Facebook allows you to send an invitation to all of your friends at one time. At one point, you couldn't do that. You had to go through all 4,000 or 5,000 of your friends and send them individual likes. But let's say it's a team of 3 of you. If the 3 of you have 5,000 friends, that's 15,000 people. If each of you send, it takes 5 minutes to go in, send it's going to send invitations to 15,000 people immediately to do that, okay? But you have to have a team that's willing to do it, to take the time to do it, and it works well, okay? Make sure you link your website to your social media platforms. Very important. Your website gets more traffic than you know. If you have a website, amen. Your website can be your one place hub for everything you do. Your podcast, your live, your social media outlets, some archive media, everything that you do on the internet, your website can be the it. We've been talking platforms to hold certain components, but your website should have everything, and it should be current. If your website has stuff on it for something that happened before Corona, ain't nobody watching it. Ain't nobody looking at it. I'm sorry. Folk don't want to hear nothing before this time. They want to see fresh new stuff. Engage often with your target audience. We talked about what engagement means. Use Facebook and Twitter advertising. We talked about that. Engage with those who like, share. We talked about that. Small steps and goals. This is important. You are not going to hit it out the park in just doing this in 1 month. It's not going to work for you. You have to set small goals and execute them. Be careful of seeing, well, how many people liked, how many people watched. That is not an indicator of how well you're doing. First of all, if we talk about purpose and you're like me, if you know God called you to do what you're doing, it doesn't matter what people say. Because when you walk away from that thing after you make that recording or after you go live, you feel a sense of accomplishment that nobody can confirm for you. Can I get an amen to?
Amen. Threefold amen.
You don't care what folks say, like, share. When you get up from doing what you do, you know that I have accomplished something that lines up with my purpose. And guess what? That's the kind of efforts that you want to make. But you also want to take small steps and goals to grow your audience, to grow into your craft, whether it be public speaking, whether it be your presentation, whether it be meeting people. All of these are small steps. Create a calendar. Create a calendar that will help to remind you. Use your cell phone. Put some things in your phone that will remind you. Let's keep it moving. Content is king. Do y'all hear me? Content is king. Long story short, I've been sharing on live. I've been talking about everything under the sun, every great idea I thought was going to be the one thing that was going to have us talking to people in LA. We're going to do what we can, okay? Last week, my wife saw me sitting down. She was watching TV, and the video came up, her talking to, she was watching a video of the mayor of Baltimore was addressing somebody, and it was a situation where the man that was signing started signing for the wrong people, and then there was an interaction. We thought it was both funny and interesting of how it happened. I said, I'm going to share that. That's something I think we should share. This only happens in Baltimore. Can I tell y'all that video now is 15,000 views strong right now, and people are still liking and sharing it? Content is king. People they don't care who Antoine Jefferson is or K. Jefferson. You think people care who don't know me? They didn't say, oh, I'm sharing this because Antoine posted it. Well, Antoine is the man. Let me share. People are not, they don't care. Think about how many posts you've shared that was either funny, interesting, or informal. You don't care about the person, but the content in it is what sparked you to do what you do. So remember, don't take anything personal. Make sure that you try to find content that will gain and grab people's attention. That will help you to get more reach. All right, join support groups. If you're in, whatever you do, go and find support groups on both Facebook and all these other places that will help you to connect with people, to give you ideas, to see what others are doing in your genre, to either perfect what you're doing and or to make adjustments based on the audience that you're trying to accomplish. Very important. Support groups are what? Communities. You got to go find these communities that will help to support what you're trying to do. AGR is a community. We're faith-based. We're not for everybody. Unfortunately, we're not for everybody, but we are a community. Use multiple mediums to engage with listeners. StreamYard allows you to both stream to all platforms, and in every platform, there will be some overlap, but in some places, the preferences of people change. Some are on Twitter, some are on Facebook. So your multiple mediums that you are both streaming to and your efforts are growing, I don't care if 2 people liked it, engage with those 2 people and grow your audience. All right? Okay. Benefits, purpose fulfilled, expand your influence. We talked about that. You're a part of your community by helping, okay? You're able to allocate resources. So as people come to you, being in a community, you know and you see how other people can really help you. And obviously, financial benefits. Here's just a monthly podcast listeners. This was back in 2019, where they were estimating 90 million in 2019. That number, we have surpassed that. And you can just imagine over the past 4 months how people are listening to content all over. This trend should help you to understand that podcasting, we're talking about on-demand videos, there is a growing interest for people to listen to your on-demand information, all right? Okay, so this was something very quick, payouts. As you can see at the bottom of the list, I say bottom for the least amount of payout. YouTube, the greatest is Xbox, right? So if you have music or episodes, or if you're loading content in any of these platforms, this is how they're paying you based on your streams, okay? And most times this is more relevant to music royalty, but any content you load that's audio would play the same role. Look how you're not even getting a cent for most of what your content is being paid, because people who are in the millions and that are stuff are playing, their formulas are different than these. Okay, so when Beyonce released her album and she posts it on YouTube, people are like, well, I'm listening to it on YouTube for free. No, you're not. She's getting paid by the advertisement that come in the middle of it that says they want you to buy a Lexus and with your Honda. So here's what we do. They're getting paid from the advertisements that are working there. And some of those paid advertisements are then paying royalties to the listeners. We have to get into that kind of relationship also with small businesses. That I am sharing my platform by singing your business or interviewing you, bringing you on my platform. And I want in return some kind of, maybe you guys can work out a contract that includes some monetary gifts. Everybody has to pay for advertisement. You're creating the audience and you're sharing them. Can I tell y'all something? Please stop sharing people's businesses that do not support your podcast or your show. I don't know who I'm talking to, but please stop. If they are not listening and sharing for you, I mean, I love you. You my dog. You my sister. But you need to be in a somewhat of a relationship where it's beneficial for both. The other thing you're doing is throwing your financial benefits out the window. You're missing and losing them, okay? So make sure that you are in a relationship where you can do that. People will say, well, I want to be on a platform where I can get reach. With Facebook page, you can, hey, how many people you want? You want me to send it to how many people? 10,000? Okay, let me come back to you with a cost. You go to Facebook and find out what does it cost to get your content out on your page to 20,000 people. Oh, Facebook might say to do that, it might cost $10. Do you hear what I'm saying? You can't even be afraid of, in this season, of the reach, because you can invest in getting reach for your content. We can talk about that another time. But I want you to know that those options are available based on people who are really looking at how large is your following. All right, our following is as large as your budget can afford. How about that? All right. Monetize your content, coaching sessions, something like what I'm doing here, sponsorships, people just wanting to donate for the cause. Affiliate partners, people like ministries that I'm in partnership with, streaming their content, helping them to grow, getting their information out. Crowdfunding. You guys know about this. I say be creative in your stuff, but crowdfunding are these platforms, and this is the last slide, where you are essentially asking for money. GoFundMe doesn't have a great reputation for personal need, but it has an amazing opportunity for business purposes. People love a good story. You hear me? People love a good story. And by the way, we use GoFundMe, but look at all of these other communities of places. This chart shows you the fees and all the other stuff, so you know the differences. But it also tells you how many people are on these platforms that are using them to give. Crowdfunding is one of the greatest ways to get money and raise money, because people don't really expect anything in return other than you to use the money and the purpose in which you ask. All right, subjective. However, it is part of the process. Y'all made it. We made it through. Why Podcast 2? I want to say thank you to those who have tuned in. This was pretty lengthy, but it certainly, for me, touched on most of what I wanted to deal with today. And I don't want to talk much longer because you guys have been very dedicated. I know we're home, but I don't assume that everybody doesn't have things to do. It's a beautiful day out there. We may want to get out and do some walking and stuff. So I appreciate it. I'm going to open up for any more questions or anything that you guys would like to share before we close our meeting.
This is Kimberly Harrison. Just want to say thank you. Very powerful, impactful. I would have I would not have thought on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4:20 I would be in training, but thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I had no idea we would be this long, but it was really good. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other remarks? Anything else anybody wants to share? We're on our way.
It's Rissa.
Hey, Rissa, thanks for hanging.
Yeah, so obviously, thank you so much for your time and dedication, and very great information. I do, we do radio, but I'm not about that video life. So now you have pushed me as usual. You always push in a great way to just start making sure that I build content that will last from platform to platform to platform. So thank you so much for your tips and tools. I have a whole notebook full of stuff that I'll be going over. I'll probably be calling you separately from this as well. So I think I had a question about the simulcast. I think you said
simulcasting.
Yeah, that right there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So that is something where you can do a live and it just plugs it in everywhere.
That's
like
right.
It links everything. You do it in one spot. And for example, if we want to do that for the Good Life Gospel Show, we use StreamYard, but I'm just using that as a platform because I know that's one of the platforms that we do video for.
That's correct.
So that means if we are streaming from whatever we decide to use, then it will go to if we wanted to, it can go to our Instagram, it can go to our Facebook, it can go to our website. Is that what that's what that means?
That's exactly what it means. And
okay.
Time we are manually taking our lives and then sharing it in different places in Facebook. But how do you take a live out of Facebook and share it to YouTube? You really can't, right? So these platforms allow you to stream simultaneously the same live to different destinations. You also can stream to a group. So you're right.
Okay.
Good Life. Last week I got it right. Profile name, Good Life page, Good Life group, Awesome God Radio page.
Really?
So 5 different destinations. Now again, we talked about this, but I want to say this again. Even though you have the 5 destinations, you have to individually grow each one of these places in its own way. You have to find communities in each one of the platforms and grow them outside of Facebook. So that's the work. The work is I now have a way to talk to you, but now I need to know who you are. So that's where we mess up, because you from one of your pools to go to another pool. Hey, if they switch, that's not growth, right? So you need to really find ways to grow the place that you're trying to grow. I hope that answers your question. Anybody else? All right. For some of you, this is it. I appreciate your time. For some of you, it is time to get started. It's time to take a chance. I am open, willing to work with you one-on-one so that all of this information can make sense for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So I appreciate your time. I'm honored to have some of you. I see your names. I see you here. I'm honored for you guys to be a part of this thing. I've talked enough. My voice is officially gone. I want to say I love and appreciate you guys. And the best way you can repay me is by really taking the step, being courageous enough to put your brands out there, and just reminding me one day at some point that this was a part of your journey for something God gave you. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
AJ, this was great. This Kay just jumping in really quick.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
This was great and really, really good information. I mean, I'm not going to start a podcast, I don't believe, in my near future. But between you and Larissa texting my phone, I have been encouraged to do my own course on social media as well. So thank you.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Hallelujah.
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 My wife she's so resourceful. Yeah, thank you, Rissa and Ebony. You heard that, so make sure we get on her about doing her own thing. She's supportive, but she has her own gifts to share with the world. All right? Okay, thank you, good brother. Appreciate you. I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all take it easy. Y'all have a blessed one.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. God bless
take
everybody.
care. God bless.
Thanks, A.
Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.